You've been here for 3 weeks?
Yeah, I graduated at school and then came out here, started training with the team right away. I think it's good to be out here, get to know everyone, get to know what they expect and, how they train here, how the pros train and, really what it takes to be here.
Who are you training with other than these guys?
Just the staff here.
Okay.
Yeah. Kevin Collins, K2,
Like weight
Nelson,
training.
Weight training, conditioning, just teach me what it takes to, be in good enough shape to play professional hockey.
How motivated were you just being up here as long as you were at the end of last season and then the playoffs and just to get back and to be part of this?
Yeah, it was very motivating. It's 2 weeks here that, I can't speak of how important that's going to be to my career. Just the experience, getting to look up to the older guys and the guys who have been here for, whether 1, 2, 10 years, in the National Hockey League, the way they act on and off the ice, the way they work, just everything that it takes. And it's definitely motivating to want to, get here in the fall and really make a push to make this team.
Is there one story now looking back that you were kind of like, I'm sure you walked in here a little bit in awe, and then did it become more normalized as you were practicing with everybody, traveling with everybody?
Yeah, that first road trip to Western Canada was definitely a bit, I was a bit awestruck at first. That first pregame skate, the first practice, even the first practice here in Columbus, I was here for a week, but that was like my first real team practice, and it's definitely a bit nerve-wracking, but you definitely settle in, you get to know guys more, you feel more comfortable come to the rink, and then naturally just on the ice as well.
So what did you do? Take us through what you did right after the season ended, the regular season. Where'd you go?
So I headed right back to Princeton. I missed 2 weeks of the semester, and then I had about 2 left when I got there. Wrapped up a couple papers and a few finals, handed those in, and then I graduated.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was important to you, obviously, to get that.
Yeah, it was very important. Coming out of high school, I picked an Ivy League school because my education had always been something that was very important to me. So completing that was obviously, a huge goal of mine too, and something I'm really happy that I'll have going forward in my life.
Was it tough snapping back into that student mentality after 2 weeks in the NHL?
Definitely. Being here it was a blessing. The National Hockey League lifestyle, like I said, is something to strive for because that's the league you want to be in. So going back to school is definitely a bit different, but something I had done for 4 years. So after a couple of days, it was pretty normal again.
Did you left right after the Nashville game, right? Went back?
Yeah, I was here for a couple of days that week, and then playoffs were starting, so I headed back then.
What was it like watching the playoff games from afar?
It was different than the previous playoffs. Yeah, I had a team to root for, I guess, kind of. So they had a good series, and it was definitely exciting watching those games.
Your teammates like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
You talked about how your first couple weeks were a little. There were a few days where you were awestruck, I guess. Was there anyone who took you under their wing at that time, tried to make the process smoother for you, or no?
Yeah, all the older guys were really good with that. They were good for advice, and then I think the younger guys were, good to hang out with because they're similar in my age. I'm new, but, them being so similar in my age, they can kind of, hang out with me, let me know what to do, where to be, and they kind of took me under the wing. But then, like I said, the older guys are obviously there with, great advice and tips for me as well.
Any particular piece of advice stand out to you during that time?
I think just play your game. In particular when I was playing in Nashville, obviously that's like the most nerve-wracking when you're heading into a game. So, it's still hockey. It's going to take a few shifts, but you'll get into it and realize it's still the same game.
What were your teammates like in Princeton when you got back and had this experience? Were they full of questions for you as to
I
what
think
that's
so.
like? What's this guy like?
Yeah, definitely. It's something that was talked about, and there were questions, and they were all excited for me, and they got to watch the game when I was in Nashville. They all watched together, so that was really special for me too. Seeing texts after the game from them that they were all watching. So, heading back there was definitely cool and a really humbling experience.